Africa football talent, oodles of it, and controversies, bucket loads of that. The quartet that has been going on strong for ages now. The abundance of flair African football is known to produce is directly proportional to the chaos it swims in. And the latest, of course, is the feud surrounding Libya and Nigeria in the ongoing AFCON qualifiers. AFCON, the African Cup of Nations tournament, is what we're referring to. Nigeria has boycotted the match against host Libya, which was scheduled to take place later tonight. Nigeria has accused Libya of manipulation, playing mind games and mistreatment. And now the matter has gone to such an extent that the Nigeria government, along with the Football Federation, has been involved. But before we get to that, let me put you up to speed with what's happened. The Nigerian football team traveled to Libya yesterday for their AFCON qualifier match in Benghazi. But instead of reaching Benghazi, their flight was diverted to a smaller airport in Baida. The distance between both these cities is around 150 miles, not too far away, yet the Nigerian football team was left stranded at the airport for more than 16 hours.
Really maltreated, and there was nobody from the area that came to receive us. Nobody. We were just left with the security. In fact, it was when I saw that the situation was unbearable, we made arrangements to hire our own vehicles. We hired our own vehicles. They did not allow us to go out and join our vehicles.
The reason why this matter is so serious is because unlike some of the other sports, like cricket, for example, footballers usually travel to the host destination just a day or two before these single fixtures. They don't get enough time to rest, so every minute counts. And every minute wasted at an airport, for example, is time robbed from their sleep, much needed rest, or practice. So clearly the Nigerian football players were frustrated and, of course, exhausted. And now the Nigerian government has stepped in and is seeking answers from Libya.
There is no gainsaying the fact that we need to respect, our national teams. Our national teams carry, the national flag of our countries, our various countries. If you look at particularly the Nigerian national team, the crop of players that we have to go through, make a lot of sacrifices to represent our country and to play for it. So we must be interested in their circumstances and in their situation at every point in time.
The matter has escalated to the extent that Nigerian government has summoned Libya's ambassador to know exactly why the players were left stranded at the airport and for that long. And while the government is seeking answers, players have gone back to Nigeria, boycotting the match.
As the captain, together with the team, we have decided that we will not play this game. Our plane is being fueled and we should be leaving to Nigeria shortly.
Strong words there from the captain of Nigeria football team. So from the outside, this clearly is a case of mistreatment from Libya, but Libya continues to stand its ground, claiming that the delay was unintentional. While Libya states the decision to divert the flight was not intentional, what's more concerning, though, is the fact that Nigeria had to arrange for their own transportation to travel to Benghazi so that they could reach the city as soon as they could and make up for that lost time. But the Libyan airport authorities didn't allow them to walk out of the airport, which is what bothered Nigeria even more. And it's strange because politically there are no differences between these two nations, and in terms of football rivalry as well, there is a stark difference between the two sides. Nigeria has won the AFCON 3 times, and Libya's best finish came long back in 1982 when they reached the final. In terms of qualification, Nigeria have been regulars with 20 qualifications out of the 36 editions of the tournament. Libya, on the other hand, still challengers with qualifying only for 3 of those years. So clearly there is no semblance of a historic rivalry, anything intense between these two footballing nations. The reason behind this feud can be drawn from one prior instance, and that happened just last week. Libya travelled to Nigeria for an AFCON qualifier match. They lost that to the host side 1-0, but we aren't pointing to the result or the scoreline as what could have possibly angered the Libyan football team, but something that happened before the game. The Libyan they were forced to make their own arrangements to travel to the host city. They traveled through dense forests, through the middle of a jungle to reach the venue eventually. It was quite the harrowing experience. So clearly, this could be a case of giving Nigeria a taste of their own medicine. However, unintentional is all we can surmise, and Nigeria aren't the first time offenders of such behavior towards visiting teams, though. Earlier this year, South Africa's national football team was stranded in a Nigerian airport for over 18 hours. This during a World Cup qualifier against Nigeria. So clearly, it looks like Nigeria is getting back the kind of treatment that they themselves have been dishing out. But does this justify Libya's actions? Because the question here is involvement of two international sides playing for a spot in a prestigious tournament like the AFCON. It's understandable that Libya is frustrated after what they went through in Nigeria, but responding to that in this manner, satisfying maybe, but is that really the solution? Because now Nigeria is threatening to boycott the match, so what are the implications of this? The matter is now in the hands of African football's governing body, CAF. Do they blame Nigeria for boycotting the match, or do they explore the conspiracy angle? It's clearly a headache either ways that CAF would be least bothered with at this point, because they didn't take any action against Nigeria when either of those past instances happened with South Africa or Libya when they were stranded. Nigeria are placed top of the group standings currently and are comfortably poised to qualify for the finals. But it will be a big blow for Libya, who wanted to have a fighting chance to stay in the hunt for qualification. Had they managed to secure a point against Nigeria, the competition would have been alive. So what next, and what decision will be apt in order to resolve this growing conflict? Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election, explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.